Hello everyone, GenmaTheSamurai here, and I'm here really quick to give an update video because I know I haven't done that in a few weeks, mostly due to me starting Fire Emblem Fates and going on hiatus, which is sadly still sort of in a vein. I'm still uploading videos, of course, as you guys have noticed, but again, I'm not going to be back to my regular upload schedule for a bit. I still have one more campaign of Fates to complete, but once that's done, I'll be able to focus in on everything else a little bit better. So anyway, I also wanted to just kind of say really quick, if you guys are like wondering some of my thoughts and everything, because I know I mentioned that like I was potentially going to make like a thoughts video. My biggest problem with that is figuring out how I'm going to go about doing that. So I mean, I could give like a little bit of some of my quick thoughts right now. But I do kind of want to advise everyone, if you guys have a 3DS, or if you guys are planning on getting a 3DS, or if any of you guys want to play this game, it is one of my favorite 3DS games ever. Like Fire Emblem Fates right here. I am loving it. It is so good. I don't know like much else to really say aside from it's the best Fire Emblem game since Path of Radiance, for my opinion. Awakening was good, but this really blows Awakening out of the water. So overall, I really enjoyed this. It's a really good game. Conquest in particular, though, can be very, very challenging. If you guys plan on playing Conquest, play it on normal difficulty. Do not play it on hard. It's potentially one of the hardest Fire Emblem games I've ever played. I still don't know if it's harder than Radiant Dawn, just because I haven't like really played through Radiant Dawn in a few years from the beginning. But that said, it is very, very hard Conquest, and yeah. Also, my window's like slightly open, so like the wind like pulled open my curtain a smidge. But yeah, seriously, it's a good game. I enjoyed Birthright, and I enjoyed Conquest. I'm playing through Revelations right now, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot after playing Conquest. So, some of my short thoughts in regards to, like, some things. Like, again, my biggest problem going into Fates was a lot of the controversy leading up to the game's release, and some of it like for a little bit after its release that I still kind of hear a bit from like you know, say fans like Donald and stuff, that like localization weirdness, and also like just kind of almost everything involving the localization. So there's like a few things that like bother me at first. I've gotten used to them. Well, mostly just like, it's really weird. So there was that weird face petting thing. I still don't think that should have been put in the game in the first place, and I'm saying like that includes in Japan. It should not have been made in the first place. But what they replaced it with is a little bit weird. You just have someone, you just go and you select someone to talk to, and then they're like, they'll say some random thing to you, and then it's like, boom, relationship points. It's obvious there was a minigame there that they just kind of cut around, which, whatever, that's the nature of how this works. Overall, though, I don't find it really, like, that bad, most of the localization. There are points where they, like, ruined it, but it hasn't, like, completely ruined, like, the game in any way, shape, or form. It is a fantastic game, and I still managed to feel for a lot of the characters. Just as a few points, you know, like, fans like Donald will be able to give you more examples, but I find the writing in general, like, you know, for the most part, to be pretty good. I like it. Story-wise, it's definitely, like, with a few kinks in there, so, like, the biggest problem with the story, I'm not saying, like, this is not spoilers, there's children in the game, like in Awakening, and the game did not need the children. And it's very clear that that was kind of like the last thing they were thinking of when they were developing this game. because, like, I feel the support system still works perfectly fine without the children being thrown into the mix. And, well, the children are there if you guys care about that and want to help grind them into being the best, you know, like, characters you want to. That's great and all. Very poorly explained how they're in there. Just the absolute laziest way you could explain it. I feel Awakening did a decent job with it, but this is obviously a concept that I personally think should not be in every Fire Emblem game, but probably will be going forward, for better or worse. And I hope that doesn't end up being the case, because that's always gonna be a problem going from here forward. Like, without stagnating it anyway, because you can't use the time travel plot thing from Awakening again. You can't. So, yeah. That's my opinion on that one. But, yeah, so how it's explained in Fates is ridiculous. It's like, oh yeah, your characters get married, and then they have some pocket dimension that they can, like, drop their kids in, and then they, like, grow up in it, or whatever. It's just a cheap excuse so that they, like, can have you get the kids without actually worrying about a lapse of time. It's interesting, though, because the kids do respond to this stuff, but they spend no time explaining how the pocket dimensions happen, why they happen, how they know that it's there, how they know to put their kids there. It just gives you, like, a very brief explanation, and then it's like, boom, you have a paralog chapter to go recruit the kid. What? I don't know. It's stupid to me. That said, that is my biggest problem with it. And I can ignore it, only on the basis that it is very clear they kind of threw it in last minute, and it has no actual consequence on the main plot. I should put that out further. The children mechanic has no actual consequence on the main plot, so you could call it non-canon if you want to. That's kind of my thoughts on it. It's so optional that it doesn't really matter, I think, personally. Others may disagree with me on that, but yeah, so just letting you guys know, putting my thoughts on that one out there. That is the weakest part of Fates' plot, from my opinion. So, yeah. Also, phone is going off a little bit. Gameplay in general, though, is very... It definitely challenges you a lot more than Awakening. One of my biggest problems with Awakening was that it was very casualized. Like, you definitely had a lot of abilities the enemy army did not have. Now it's balanced. Almost everything you can do, the army can do to some degree. The enemies can do to some degree. So everything is now completely balanced around the pairing system that was introduced in Awakening, which makes it very challenging. And for the first little bit playing it, I definitely found myself feeling very overwhelmed in a lot of chapters. But once you learn your way around it, it gets a lot better. Mostly from playing Conquest. Conquest really teaches you to rely on using the pairing system well. So if you guys play Conquest, expect a challenge, because that game is going to challenge you. It's going to break you, but it's a good game. I definitely actually really enjoyed Conquest. I enjoyed both Birthright and Conquest. You know, people are actually talking about, like, how Conquest plot was better. It's interesting. So when I played Birthright, it was very simple, and it was kind of very traditional, and the motivations were fairly clear for the most part, and it had, like, a few interesting twists here or there. I couldn't tell you a lot of the events that would happen, because, again, it was very simple and kind of straightforward. But it was in a very... I felt it was a fun way. I was just having fun playing through the game. But it's nothing really deep. Conversely, there was only, like, some plot holes regarding this one character, but it was mostly just due to the fact that they were saving that for, I would say, mostly Revelations. Conquest explains it a little bit, but Revelations explains it a lot more. I won't go into it there, but yeah, so Birthright in general, I thought was great, and yeah, I felt it was very much needed. When I played Conquest, It was definitely a more interesting plot. There was a lot more going on. It was a lot more unique for a Fire Emblem game, and you know, I found myself kind of butting heads with my avatar character in that, especially early on, just because there were like some points where like I just could not relate to the decisions being made, and that's kind of the premise of Conquest as a whole. You know, when you're playing that route, you kind of go against your moral judgment a little bit, probably. You know what I mean? But it definitely is an interesting route, if only to see how it turns out. But again, its biggest problem is, of course, the character choosing that path. Other people may argue against me on that one. That was my biggest problem with Conquest's general plot, was mostly just the actual opening premise. And in fact, actually in Birthright, one thing I actually really liked about Birthright is that even though we were with the Hoshido army, you still really related to a lot of you know, just the Norse side a lot. You know, like, you had some time with them, so that even when you fought them, you still really cared, you know, about them. It definitely had a lot of a balanced feel, like, to the plot and everything. And I really appreciated that. I really liked that about just like Birthright. Was just like, you know, you still had sides of the perspective. It's just, you know, you were on the Hoshido side. It was very just easy to follow. Again, though, I love a lot of the things the Conquest does, mostly like towards the end. But conversely, I will say this. For as good... I'm not spoiling anything. I'm not, okay? Is that for as good as Conquest plot is, there was one moment in Birthright that hit me way harder than any moment in Conquest. But Conquest overall had a lot more of them. So I don't know. That's all I want to say. That's all I'm saying. It's a good game. They're both good paths. And I advise you guys to go play them. If you plan on getting a 3DS or anything, just go do it. It is great. Is it the best Fire Emblem plot ever? I would say second best. Probably. Just from what I've seen. Like, it has problems. Don't get me wrong. In general so far, in terms of the world building and just seeing the different perspectives, like, yes, they go in a different direction, but if you look at Fates as a whole, I feel it's definitely the second best, at least plot-wise. Path of Radiance being the first. I've not played 4, so I've heard that one's also good. So I'm not counting that one in because I've never played it, but so at least out of the American released ones, I would say Fates has probably the second best plot. First one, of course, going to Path of Radiance, which I love that game. You guys have seen my LP streams, probably. If you guys have not, I mean, it's there. If you have a ton of free time, I don't know. But it's good. I enjoyed it. And yeah, so these are just kind of some of my thoughts here. I'll probably have more detailed later, because I might make like an actual video if I can get like actual game footage at all from like anyone. I don't know. If I had a 3DS capture, I would be able to LP it or something, whatever. Just, yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts. Revelations is amazing. Just from a gameplay standpoint, at least, though, so far. Just because you get crud from both routes, and the versatility and being able to play it the way I want to, instead of just having to do resource management, like, between what you have, is incredible. I am loving that about Revelations, just after playing the other two routes. But again, guys, don't do Revelations first. Do that after the other two, for obvious reasons. That's what Nintendo suggests, that's what everyone needs to do. So if you plan to play these games, do not jump straight into Revelations. Be sure to do the other two routes. And yeah. Again, there's like a few other things I could talk about. I don't want to make this a giant video of me just talking into a camera. I don't think this is very interesting. Again, if I get like one where I can do an actual like reviewish video with footage, 1, I don't know how long it would take. 2, I don't know where I would get the footage. 3, I'll probably do it. Don't know when, though. Could be a few months from now, whenever that goes up. I have no idea. The process could take a bit. Regardless, that is all I have to say about Fates right now. So, yeah. Anyway, seriously, thank you guys for tuning into this vlog. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Hope you all have a very nice day. And, yeah, I just thought I'd give it a little quick update. I'm doing Revelations, and, yeah, I'm enjoying it. And if you guys have not gotten Fates yet, go do it! It is an amazing game. I don't know what else to say, just get it. It's awesome. I mean, after all, you are the ocean's gray wave.